should have paid us enough to fucking live. You know, we may not get paid enough to fucking live, but these is dirt cheap. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. All you had to do was pay us enough to fucking live. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. There goes your inventory.
There's a story from a few days ago where a guy burned down a warehouse in California, which Zillow had listed as like $152 million, I want to say. Plus it was stocked. And this is a justice.gov right here, this site. And this is saying that it's approximately $500 million in damage in total. Now the man, Hamel Abdul Karim, sorry, I don't really know how to pronounce his name, but he's 29 of Highland, California, and I don't know if he's a first-generation immigrant, second-generation immigrant. Surprisingly, that's not actually what I'm going to talk about. This isn't like an immigrant bad sort of thing. He actually comes across as the most generic Redditor ever in the video of him burning down the warehouse. He, honestly, this feels very like modern leftist American rather than immigrant. I mean, you know, just having the name doesn't mean anything, right? So it's actually more of a communist thing to me, an anti-billionaire, anti-rich, eat the rich, destroy the rich, you know, whatever, like X your local CEO or your whatever, like your ace your local president, whatever they're saying these days. I don't know. I mean, Reddit's so full of that stuff. I've almost become nose deaf to it. You see it all the time. People just talking about axing all the local billionaires. But this guy, he didn't do anything. At least I don't think it's terroristic to any degree. He burned down a warehouse, but it seems like he tried to do it at a point in time where no one was there. There is another website, abc7.com, ABC News. They said in an interview with one of his coworkers, Alex Montero, there was no suspicion that it was him. Actually, he was missing, so everyone was trying to find him. Everyone was blaming the robots at first. We were almost 100% sure it was the robots that caused the fire, until the action in the video, of course. So they had seen him, Abdul Karim, they had seen him moments before the warehouse went up in flames, and they thought maybe he was in there. They were like worried that he was in there, that he might be dead or something, and they were blaming the robots, and then turns out it was him. Now, presumably Abdul Karim knew that there was no one in there before doing it. I mean, he seemed to, in the video, have no regard for it being anyone anywhere. Like, he was just burning it down and saying, you know, F the 1%, F the billionaires, communism rules or whatever. That was basically the gist of it. So I'm not saying that it was in any way terroristic, which is good. You know, I mean, it's nice that it's not some sort of Islamic thing. No bomb vests or anything like that. I mean, I would take some angry rage over the billionaires any day over that, I suppose. But it does still stink to high heaven of communism. Like, this is straight out of the playbook of eat the rich. And there's some weirdities to this, too. I read somewhere, I don't know if it's true, but I read on one of the news sites that he's being held without bail. Isn't it funny that you can commit heinously violent crimes and then get out on bail, sometimes without even paying anything to get out on bail, sometimes just very small amounts, a few $100s, and then you can immediately go out and do whatever you want to anyone else around you. But this guy burns down a warehouse and he's held without bail in California, no less. I don't know if they have more strict laws over there, but I would presume not, given that it's California. I don't know. Maybe they just have so much crime that their bail laws are more strict. I'm not really sure, but maybe it's just because he burnt down a billionaire company's warehouse that he's not held on bail. Or I don't know. I just thought it was really funny. Not sure if it's even true, but then other news story mentioned it. So again, this guy, he said over and over in the video, all you had to do was pay us enough to live. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. All you had to do was pay us enough to live, over and over and over again. I mean, first of all, what even is enough? Like, I've seen people taking some guesstimations at how much he earned, how much you'd need to live in Highland, which is where he lives apparently, or Ontario, wherever. And it's not really indicative of anything, because you don't, like, people always say that they're not being paid enough, and you never really know because so many people waste so much. Like, are you really not paid enough? Or do you have a Disney subscription, a Netflix subscription, 5 different video game subscription? Do you give most of your paycheck to some OF girls? Like, what exactly are we counting here? It was like when the food stamps were a big issue for a while, or whatever it was. Snap in Georgia, it was a big issue, and it's like, well, you're not supposed to spend it on candy. You're supposed to spend it on food. And then people are like, well, candy is food. I should be able to spend it on whatever I want. It's like, no, the government gets to decide what you spend it on. You're not given welfare to spend it on candy and Coca-Cola. You're supposed to spend it on food to live with. Like, it's ridiculous how some of these people just think that they get to make the rules. It's like whenever you see cop cams arrest someone and they're like pulling the sovereign citizen card. Like, no, officer, you've got the law wrong. I'm the real lawyer here. I know what's up. You don't. You don't, police officer. You have no idea what you're talking about. You need to obey me and all of my crazy, wacky delusions. God, I cannot get enough of that, especially if it ends with a tase or a mace. I'm not sure which one's better. I think mace is probably better. Like, the thing about mace is it completely incapacitates them, but without actually like locking up their muscles. So you get to see how they sort of like, it's like a staggered animal after like it. I mean, I don't like seeing animals get hurt, but after they get like dealt a fatal blow and they're like, oh no. And that's basically what mace is like to the Karens. Like they get hit by it and they kind of stumble around and then they eventually collapse. And it's like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Suddenly all my Karen powers have left me. I can't just say sovereign citizen and get whatever I want. And that's sort of the way it works with these kinds of people. He keeps saying, just all you have to do is pay us a minimum wage over and over again. It's the same thing they always do. Trans women are women, trans women are women, trans women are women, trans men can give birth, or women can give birth, or whatever they say. That's just all the crazy excuses they make, and then they chant them to themselves. It's always a chant with them, always a song, always some weird acronym they'll make in order to prove themselves correct, like creating a chant out of an acronym or something. They always have some sort of weird thing they do like that. And it's so childish. Like, what exactly, what are you changing in the world by doing? Like, is singing a song proving that your politics are more socially acceptable and moral and good and righteous and economical and whatever? That song that's gonna change the world? No, it's like a bunch of kids singing Kumbaya, and the songs don't change the world. They're never going to. Little chants and stuff don't change the world. What changes the world is when people decide to cause severe damage or possibly bodily harm. I mean, think about how many people... This guy was mad about how much he was being paid, and so he decided to burn down a warehouse, a 1.2 million square acre, I believe it was, warehouse, in order to get revenge to the 1%, the evil billionaires. Well, lots of people worked out of that warehouse, and now all of their jobs are gone. Now who's paying them? Oh, yeah, burning down the warehouse creates jobs. Sure, all the people who have to get rid of the rubble and make sure everything's secure and then rebuild and fix all of the plumbing and stuff. Like, yeah, sure, there's definitely some jobs being made here by this guy, but not really in a positive sort of way. And all of the people who had jobs just like him, in fact, the same jobs he had, all of them are now screwed because of this one angry person. And this is the funniest thing about the left wing. Like, this is a communist ideal, what he's doing, this burn the rich or whatever. Like, on the surface level, it's the communist ideal, but it's like a fantasy communism. And I think this is what embodies the left so much, this fantasy communism where they want everyone to be happy. Everyone gets to live in a gigantic mansion. Everyone gets free healthcare. No one has to work. No one gets sick. F cancer. Everyone's happy. Everyone's... It's insane. You can't have this. And when they don't get it, well, everyone else gets to suffer. That's the result. When they don't get what they want, they have to make everyone else suffer. I thought communism was about everyone being happy. Well, no, not really. At the end of the day, Black Lives Matter is about black people being happy. LGBTQ is about gay people being happy. And then, of course, that's expanded to whatever other denominations of gender or gender identity you want to pick from. The war on women, Me Too, whatever, that's about women being happy. None of this is about communism. It's not about togetherness or solidarity or anything about that. It's everyone's just fighting for themselves, getting what they want, getting their own thing. It doesn't matter if it's religion, skin color, gender, any of that. It's all selfish, and this guy was selfish too. All of the damage he did with this weird, fantastical, like I don't really know even what to call it. There's some actual literal word for it. This like fake communism, this holier than thou communism, where they wanted everyone to be paid a fair wage, but then when they don't get what they want, they're just going to burn it all down, screw everyone else. Well, you're not very communistic if you're going to screw everyone else just because you didn't get what you wanted, really. I mean, I suppose that is like part of the failing of communism. Like usually it's more about like corruption and stuff like that, but it fails for many reasons, I suppose. And the main thing I wanted to point out with this is that there's quite a lot of Redditors taking his side. Unsurprisingly, this guy probably spent most of his time venting about his job on Reddit. He probably went to plenty of the communist subreddits on here, like work reform and anti-consumption and such. So not everyone is stupid here on this particular subreddit. This is where I learned it from. It's interesting AF. Not everyone on here is stupid, just to be fair. A lot of them are asking questions. How much did he actually make? There's some people trying to spitball. They don't really know, but they're trying to figure out like how much rent it costs where he lives and how much you need to make and how much California pays and yada yada. So seemingly he did actually have enough to cover rent, but barely. At least that's just the people's guessing as far as I mean, like, who even knows? This guy said 18 hours, I think, but like, who even knows if that's what he was actually making? I mean, it's up in the air, but that's not really relevant. What's relevant is that these people hate the billionaires. They love their fantasy communism so much that they are taking his side without even questioning it. Not every single one of them, like I said, but a lot of them. A lot of them do. And here's a person. I forgot about this person. This is saying that they live in the area and the smoke was so bad that it was around for most of the next day and probably a lot longer than that, not to mention the smell. So it's not just the jobs he took away. Like, he's inconveniencing so many people. This is what you see with a lot of these protests and stuff too. They have to be like in the middle of the road. They have to be flipping over cars and burning things. They're not really protests once they're disruptive. They're riots, and people can't appreciate that because they matter more than everyone else. And, well, that's kind of the point I'm trying to make. It's not really communism if you matter more than other people, is it? It's tribalism. And this isn't about the guy being named Kamel Abdul Karim. It's about whatever the hell this twisted leftisms are. I mean, he was almost certainly a leftist. Like, he acted like it. He sounds like it. He talks like it. I mean, he just sounded so much like a Redditor. Like, this dude, he's got to be a Redditor. That's a shitload of toilet paper. Yeah, there's a lot of toilet paper jokes. It's toilet paper and diaper warehouse, as far as I remember. But I forgot about that, too. The guy doesn't even work for the company. He's like a third-party contractor or something. So he's burning down another company's warehouse because he's perceived them as the enemy. That's super weird to me. The entire area around the warehouse is residential. Thousands of homes, gardens, and air in the area is contaminated by a toxic industrial fire now. So the guy didn't just screw himself and coworkers over. This has an impact over other people's health for decades from now. A bit of an exaggeration to suggest that it's an impact for decades. I mean, I don't know that it's toxic fumes either. I mean, there's like diapers and Kleenexes and stuff. Like, I'm sure some other stuff was burnt up as well. But maybe a little bit of an exaggeration there by them, but it is what I was trying to say is that some of the Redditors, especially with something like this, a lot of people are going to condemn it, but there are weirdly, that's not weird actually because Reddit is left-wing communisms, but there are a lot of people on here who are taking the side of the 1%, or not against the 1%, like they'll just write it off, Jerry. I hate to see a guy go to jail, but I love to see massive economic damage to a corporation with no lost lives. Like, what even is that mentality? Like, people cannot be lost, but you don't want to see a guy go to jail with no context whatsoever there. I mean, like, what if he was a serial murderer or something? But you also just love massive economic damage. Massive economic damage. What does that even mean? You just love massive economic damage? Are you just saying that you're a foreign antagonistic nation? I mean, why would you love to see massive economic damage? Like, how is that a positive thing? It should have paid the dude more. Free Luigi. This is just the start of the class war. I'm not going to go down through these thousands of comments, obviously, but this is just indicative of the left. And this is actually a pretty good thread for Reddit, because a lot of these people are condemning what he did. But a lot of them as well are agreeing with what he did, or weirdly just saying that they love catastrophic economic damage. I don't really know what that particular problem was with that one guy, but I just thought it was funny that this is it's a guy named Abdul Karim, and yet he's acting like a tried and true battle tested veteran Redditor. This guy is not acting like an immigrant. He's acting like a Redditor. And I don't know, maybe at a certain point Redditors are no longer Americans, or a Canadian or Australian or wherever they're from, UK, France, Germany, all the countries that are having issues with this right now. I'm not sure if any other European nations are. I know some of them are maybe struggling a little bit, not so much like Poland and Hungary. But then again, I severely doubt many people would want to go to Hungary considering they're allied with Russia. But it's just weird. It's weird that this is the mentality that I'm angry, so I can burn down a massive warehouse and put loads of people who are identical to me out of their job. Like, who knows what they're going through? They might have children to take care of or something. You don't care about that. You care about yourself. You're not real communists. You're showroom communists. This is just a fantasy to them. They're role players. They want to be the billionaire. They say, down with the 1%, down with the billionaires. They want to be the billionaires. They say, if I ever hit the lottery, I'm going to donate most of it to charities or whatever. They're not going to do that. They're going to be one of those people who a year after they win $1 billion, they're going to go on r/AMA and they're going to say, I won the lottery last year and now I'm penniless. Ask me anything. And it's not going to be from charity. It's going to be from blackjack and hookers. These people, they complain about dictators. They want to be the dictator. I hate them. And so that's why I'm making the video. It's not because the dude's name is Kamel Abdul Karim. This isn't some sort of hit piece on immigrants. It's just the fantasy communism, man. The because you have to really think about how the world is run. Like rich people, CEOs, they've always, long before CEOs, the merchant lords, they've always had so much control over the world. They're not going to like this kind of mentality being very widespread. And it's one thing to have some reservations about CEOs. It's one thing to talk about, give your reviews and critiques and stuff. But it's another thing to be championing the destruction of $200 million warehouses as a normal thing, or to be heralding Luigi Mangione as your hero and claiming that going out and acing presidents and CEOs is the way forwards in life. Like these rich people, the merchant lords, they're going to be pushing for censorship because of stuff like this. They're going to be pushing for digital censorship of spoken language, and I don't think many people really understand the depth of things like this. Like, how many people see it and immediately think about all the people around here whose house is now covered in smoke and is going to smell like that for probably weeks, if not longer. Not to mention, God, if there is toxic fumes, that really could be an issue, but I don't know if that's true or not. But there's so much more to it than just some angry guy burning down something and then the billionaires get insurance to pay for it, and that's that. There's so much more to it, and these people don't care because they're not really communists. They don't care about community. They care about themselves. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed, please do the YouTube things.